The whodunit slasher is probably my favorite subgenre. There is not much that is more satisfying to me than to trying to figure out who the killer is in the movie. It's like a puzzle, and if it's well told, you get clues, and you are trying to figure out who the killer is before the end. And if the movie is well written and directed, it is a very exciting journey. But there are several components that go into making a good whodunit slasher. And first off, it is the story. Is it well told? Does it unfold in a natural way that makes sense? Are the characters well written and likable? Mainly the lead character. Are the paths and clues to revealing the killer interesting and well told, logical? Or are they cliched and very obvious? And also one other aspect that is important is the killer's motive. Is the killer's motive believable, and does it call for this story to be told? Those are all important aspects of making a good whodunit slasher movie. Of course, there are examples where we know who the killer is from the start, like in Halloween and Friday the 13th after the first movie. But those are also told differently. It's more about why and how rather than who. And depending on the answer of those questions, the quality of the movies are also different from movie to movie. Especially with Jason Voorhees, he is not a human threat. And the same goes for Michael Myers depending on which movie you are watching. I prefer not knowing who the killer is and trying to find out during the movie or movies. Don't get me wrong, the first Halloween movie modernized what Psycho set up, and it has its own language and style. It is more like a Twilight Zone episode. Is he human? Is he not human? Where did he go? What happened with him? Is he alive? And that is also an exciting aspect of it for an audience member, especially in Halloween's case if it had ended after the first movie. But the excitement of trying to figure out who the killer is just unbeatable. And it's very satisfying if you are wrong in your assumptions, and it's a very surprising reveal at the end. That is why Scream is my favorite horror franchise of all time, even though some reveals are more satisfying than others. The best motives are the ones that are most enjoyable. The whole movie can sometimes fall apart depending on if the motive is good or not. And it all started with Psycho from 1960. Before that, horror was mostly about monsters or something fantastical. Psycho brought a new approach to that. Instead of monsters, it was something much closer, like your neighbor or hotel manager.
Dirty night.
You have a vacancy?
Oh, we have 12 vacancies. 12 cabins, 12 vacancies. They moved away the highway.
Oh, I thought I'd gotten off the main road.
I knew you must have. Nobody ever stops here anymore unless they've done that.
And the movie itself did the whodunit concept on a whole different level. And after that, we have been introduced to many different concepts to the subgenre. Like Black Christmas, like Halloween 78, and like Scream 96. Halloween introduced us to the concept of knowing who the killer is immediately, and all the characters knowing who the killer is. Dr. Loomis knowing, and all the teens knowing who Michael Myers is. In Black Christmas, it's a random attack, and they don't know who the killer is, but he's not masked. He just walks in, and he's very, very crazy. There, it's more about why he is doing what he is doing, and the Billy character is seemingly very unstable. And in Scream 96, it's more of a seemingly revenge story from the killer, and you think there is only one killer in the movie, but there's two killers.
Please.
Surprise, Sydney.
And it's very self-aware. Franchises like The Exorcist, Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Elm Street all exist within the Scream universe. So the best slashers are the ones that come up with a new concept, a new execution of the story. Of course, elements like a killer, a masked killer, an unmasked killer, knives, and other sharp objects is something that will always stay in the subgenre. That's not really something you can change, that's the point of the subgenre. But it can all come in different shapes and sizes, like I've mentioned in the earlier examples. And this year has been quite good for the subgenre. We have movies like Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, Saw X, and Scream 6 that all have been either good or great. And next year we will be getting a whole new The Strangers trilogy, which I'm pretty excited for. Also a new Saw movie, which I'm now very excited for because Saw X was very good. But we will see, I just want more good slashers to be made. And hopefully we will get even more quality into the subgenre. We need more well-told stories. We need an era like when John Carpenter came out with Halloween, or when Wes Craven made Elm Street and Scream. Something that brings something new to the table. Good creativity when it comes to writing, and a director that knows what he is doing with the material. And not just do slashers for the sake of it, not just because they are popular at the time. When John Carpenter made Halloween, or when Wes Craven made Elm Street and Scream, they were both reinventing the subgenre. They both presented a new perspective for the subgenre. So what would need to happen is to go back to the drawing board, so that we can get slasher movies that are not predictable, that are well written, and creators that are very creative in writing the stories and directing the concepts of these characters, these stories. And even though I like the latest entries of the Halloween franchise and the Scream franchise, there wasn't a lot done to reinvent the stories. There was too many things that were already done before. It seems like many movies, not just in the slasher genre, they try to go down memory lane and remind you of earlier entries and earlier good scenes in the franchises. And that is all good, but when you have your story revolve around fan service, it's just not that good. We want new stories. We want some fan service, but not to the extreme. And that is something that new writers have to do. They have to rely less on the history of these franchises. Not make something that is totally unrecognizable, but try to add something new within the confines of the universe they are writing within. I just want to be surprised while at the same time being presented with a good, well-written and acted story. I want to thank everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe. This has been Boogeyman Cinema.